They are despicable people. And it's this morning. Oh my God. Oh my God. Look at number 17. They all, I already did that one. I'm sorry. No, don't go there. Don't go there. Number 8, I meant. Go to number 8. MSNBC, straight out of the box. Trump claims his campaign's polling shows the best numbers we have ever had. That's the fear. Why he claims it. That's the fear they have. Exactly what I was told yesterday. Trump say, hey, you know what? I know you guys are mad. You're just going to have to get over it. Number 7. MSNBC. They're all going nuts. One-on-one, President Trump claims negative polls are untrue. Yesterday, ABC News, MSNBC, there's George Stephanopoulos. Why don't I call the FBI, George? So let me just give you an example here, George. I'm sitting in the office. I'm not doing anything. And, some guy calls up, maybe an oligarch. You guys love the Russian oligarchs. So maybe it is a, what's that country over there that we've been talking about, Josh? So anyhow, I'll get it in just a minute. It's the country Biden's son was involved in. Ukraine, yeah. So I get a phone call. I'm sitting here, this is Trump. I'm sitting here, George. I get a phone call. Is this the Donald? I have no Ukrainian accent. Yes, this is Donald Trump. I am a very well-known Ukrainian oligarch. Sure. How are you, oligarch? You know, the little thing with Biden Jr., the junior boy, the boy Hunter? Yeah. You'll remember the gas line deal or whatever it was. And, Biden comes over here, and the next thing you know, he's attacking our guy that's investigating the company his son's in. Bada bing, bada boom. You know that? Yeah, I know it. Yeah, sure, okay. I have something on that. So you got the legal pad. Nobody, these people don't understand. You got the legal pad. It's always there with a pen. Always. So he says, okay, what you got? Well, on this day, if you will look, you might find the Bidens, Mr. Biden and the junior here on the same day. Interesting. And if you look at these phone records, you may see this and this on the same day. Oh, okay, good. You hang up the phone. Is that their fear? Is their fear that someone from the Ukraine may call? What's their next fear? That someone in China? China's pretty good. They'll cut you off right at the knees if you talk. You're not going to talk, man. Someone in China? Is that the fear they have? Is that someone there will give up everything on Biden? Dealing with our foreign adversaries, would that, interesting, would that be, what about John Kerry in Iran? What about the people we have, American citizens, one-time State Department or whoever they may be, bopping all over the world, influencing our elections by saying, hold on, we're going to get him. We'll get him out. Hang on. The hypocrisy of these people. Let me give you this right here, 19. Okay. Trump, I take foreigners' dirt. I mean, look at her face. Can you see her face, number 19? Can you see the face on this woman? I mean, I'm telling you, they're shocked. Look at the decline in these networks. I mean, the decline in these networks viewing is, they are crashing. Look, she is shocked. They're like, I can't believe I'm reading this. For somehow they just bypassed the DNC paid Christopher Steele for a dossier. Trump says, I've never called the FBI. Remember something. This is an FBI, okay, that I think needs to be completely revamped, renamed, and cleaned out from top to bottom. I'm sorry, there's a lot of good personnel in there, and then rehire the good ones. Clean it out. Hey, as of Monday, nobody's here. We're taking the sign off. It's just like changing the name on it. We're taking the sign off. Give us 30 days. We're going to reopen under a new name, and we'll put back the ones that we can vet that are not taking out insurance policies against our then candidate Donald Trump and President Donald Trump. Let's take a brief break. I'm running along. We'll be right back after these messages. And then we're going to talk about some local stuff with national still in there. Take us a break, Josh.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LOJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair, and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on-site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
It's always Truck Month at Days Chevrolet in Jasper. And with our maximum discount guarantee, nobody else comes close. Now save up to $11,000 off Silverado crew cabs, or choose 0% financing for 72 months, or save up to $7,000 off Colorado crew cabs. The new truck selection is huge, and the discounts are unbeatable at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where it's always Truck Month.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
Ace is your healthful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart.
And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart.
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and Ellijay, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World.
Do you feel like healthcare has become too impersonal?
8 times an hour, I'll get you in, I'll get you out.
At Lifetime Medical Center, you're more than a number. We get to know you, not just your medical issues. Dr. Alana Kent is board certified in family practice and offers same-day appointments. She and her staff treat conditions from minor to chronic issues. Lifetime Medical Center, convenient to Jasper and Blue Ridge.
This may sting a little.
Welcome to Mountain Valley Motors. Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Fiat vehicles available, plus a wide selection of quality used vehicles. Located at 7535 Appalachian Highway in Blue Ridge, we treat the needs of each individual customer with paramount concern. We know that you have high expectations, and as a car dealer, we enjoy the challenge of meeting and exceeding those standards each and every time. Allow us to demonstrate our commitment to excellence. Our experienced sales staff is eager to share its knowledge and enthusiasm with you. We encourage you to browse our online inventory, schedule a test drive, and investigate financing options. Visit us online or call us at 706-516-1053.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
All right, folks, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office. We are North Georgia's only live online morning show. 65 degrees here in Ellijay, Georgia, 8:39. Josh, now I want to ask you a quick question. Today is game day, right?
Yep.
How bad does the entire staff cringe on game day knowing how intense I get? I get intense on game day, don't I?
Yeah, pretty intense.
Yeah. Pretty intense. Yeah, we're just going to go with that. We're going to go with that, pretty intense. You know, I'm glad you did pretty intense and inserted that in place of saying, oh, no, you get crazy as hell on game day.
Hey, we enjoy baseball. So.
Yeah, exactly. So it's game day over in White County Park and Rec. Game day over there as we start the Dizzy Dean Division 6, I think it is, Division 6 tournament there for the state. Hey, man, somebody could go to the World Series, Dizzy Dean World Series. But anyhow, we start that today on Team FYN Sports. All right, so this is a segment right here, Josh. So if you got the recorder running, that's fine on this one. Don't have to break it. Now, I just want to make a brief statement on 3 topics this morning, or 2 topics. First, who's stealing a car? Nobody. Well, the horn went off. Okay, so that's on my segment is somebody hearing me yell, who's stealing a car? So we're in the Ella Hood. Oh, God, I'm in trouble now. I have the chief of police calling me. Why did you say you're in the Ella Hood? So if I can get my focus back, my ADD pills or whatever they are, I should have taken one of those this morning. Look at the camera, BKP. Gilmer County. Now, I can't go into full detail, so don't say, well, I'm leaving a lot out. So I'll start right now. The Gilmer County Community Pool 2. Pool 2. I feel like a Sesame Street. You remember when they would push the two vowels together and all of a sudden show you the word? So Gilmer County started with pool, okay? So there's a big uproar. The pool is closing. Oh my God, there's nowhere for the kids to splash this summer and frolic in the water and buy French fries at the concession stand. All the above, you know. Oh, the pool. So Gilmer County, and I'm going to say the person running this point, you always have a point, is Charlie Paris, the chairman county commissioner of Gilmer County, which cited yesterday as what I call a fake polling, inaccurate polling, as accurate. Now, I won't want to be negative about the poll that was put out for our plan, our economic 5-year future plan. We'll go into that later, but he actually cited that poll as an accurate poll, which is not accurate to me at all. There's no scientific data, but he cited the poll that came out. Overwhelmingly, people in Gilmer County want a pool. Okay, that's okay. First, the lie that may be told to you is that I do not want the children to have a pool. That's just a flat-out lie. All of my discussion on the pool is fiscal responsibility, hashtag, where's the BOE in their aquatic center? We'll go there later. So, first of all, they start out with pool. And, okay, we got to put back the pool. And then they shove the S into it. Slowly, slowly, slowly. And when it got together, it's pools. Okay? There you go. Two scoops. So that being said, I am planning a full segment where I can give details and I can tell you I'm waiting for some articles to come out, some media articles to come out on this. I'm waiting for some interviews that have been done, and I'm waiting for tonight's Dog and Pony Show. I know people are going to get mad. Really, you guys say? But they're going to do, Charlie Paris, the chairman, is running this point now. They're going to have a pool designer come and do a presentation on designs. Now, Post Commissioner Dallas Miller said, can we get 4 or 5 designers to come in and make presentations? And that's when the chairman says, but Kevin White, our Park and Rec director, said, it's hard to get people to come all the way to Gilmer County that want to make a presentation. Plus, the person doing the presentation may be great people, let's be clear, may be very good people, but the people willing to do the presentation, they're businesses in Gilmer County. Well, that sounds good. We're having a problem getting people. It's too tough to get people to drive up here to do a design. This is a multi-million-dollar project. You're going to tell me that pool companies don't want to come and try to take a shot at a multi-million-dollar company? Or, this is my or do they think it's a waste of time knowing somebody else is going to get the job anyway? Is there a big war out there that we don't know about? So anyhow, let me just say this, okay? And we'll get further into it. There's multiple designers out there. Tonight at the Gilmer County Commissioners meeting, I am not going to go and get down that road with the backstroke people, okay? Not going to do it, not going to do it, not going and doing the butterfly. That's what they want the pool. They want the Olympic-sized pool with laps and everything, so, you know, they can train a swim team. Great. Great. My opinion is fiscally Gilmer County. So you got Gilmer County, got the city of Ellijay, got the city of East Ellijay, and then you got what? Board of Education. Board of Education looking for somewhere to put $19 million. So, hey, let me regroup here when I hit say $19 million. That being said, my opinion is fiscally the county tax structure at this time is not prepared for a multi-million-dollar project. Now, I'm hearing $3 million. I was told the pool could be 1.2 alone to 1.5, okay? Then, but once we do the road and the everything in there, and we do all the stuff and put the concession stand and the concrete and the lights, this could go as high as $3 million. Now, the chairman, Charlie Paris, got upset with me for saying $3 million yesterday. Got upset, so okay. But that's what I'm hearing. Now, they want to put it on the property down here in East Ellijay. They're going to go ahead with planning, designing, engineering. They don't know where it's going yet. Now, they want to put it down here on Progress Road on 21 acres, I think it is, that East Ellijay gave away. People don't give away property. Do you realize that East Ellijay is right now the most financially well city in Gilmer County based on their tax revenue from splost and lost local option sales tax? They're rolling it in. So do you think East Ellijay, that is raking the money in, is my opinion, is this, I understand this is their property, that's raking the money in on taxes, is going to just say, hey, Gilmer County, take 21 acres. We see no need to bring in more tax revenue. It's been sitting there for years. Wonder why. It's been offered to the last administration. Wonder why, and they didn't take it. But we'll get, well, wait a minute, there's that pesky railroad tracks. And this is my opinion, folks, okay? You please text me, tell me I'm wrong, 706-889-9700. But when you cross, go ahead and put that up real fast in case somebody wants to, you know, cuss me out or what. I said that, I know. You're not nasty like that. I never get nasty messages, right? But you can get in touch with me. All right, come back. So, you got to cross the railroad tracks. Well, last I heard, the old railroad track people say, you got to do this. I understand they have a 50-foot right-of-way on both sides of the railroad track that you can't build on, touch, park a car. They can tell you can't pave. They can walk up and say, no, you can't. Now, they can give you that, but they can say that. So it's 50-foot right-of-way. Number two, I understand for public use of people going back and forth publicly and it being on property that will belong to the county, there's a whole process of what you've got to do to cross those tracks. And there's engineering, and my understanding is you do it their way, the railroad people's way, no other way, and you pay for everything. Plus, we may have to build the property up because a portion is in the floodplain. So we don't know where it's going. We don't know how much it is. We've got designers coming up. We've got Kevin White at Park and Rec, you know, trying to run point on this. When somebody tells you he's not, go to the video that we have when Chairman Paris is asked questions and he says, well, that's what Kevin's telling me. Really? Maybe he needs to pay more attention to his tournament teams and, you know, all of the qualifications to play in tournaments, and we'll leave that alone right now, instead of worrying about if somebody he knows can get a pool contract. My words, my opinion, just mine. But this being said, okay, Lloyd Jarrett, let me look at the camera and tell you something. You have, if Chairman Paris, which is hell-bent, yes, I know I'm in trouble, because Charlie Paris looked at me yesterday and said I was against everything. Whoa, wait for that editorial to come out. BKP against everything, says Paris. So I might just highlight all the things that he thinks I might have been against that have been positives in this county. One being the belief in this county to start a business here. That being said, not getting worked up in any way. Where was I at? Oh, people, if Paris moves forward with his pool project, which I am going to tell you, my prediction will not be ready for opening day and Memorial Day. I bit my tongue yesterday. I get in trouble saying that I'm teetering on nasty, teetering on, attacking. You know what, when Chairman Paris looks at the citizens, it says, and he leaves his little gray area, like, I'm not going to raise taxes, but the gray area he leaves. When he leaves that little gray area, his hopes and dreams and wishes are for the children to have somewhere to swim. Opening day, Memorial 2020. Next year, man, we're going to get those kids diving in the pool Memorial Day weekend next year. I have challenged that. I hear others are challenging that. So he has the little gray area. He hopes to do that. He's going to do it. Let me tell you something. Tell me I'm wrong. It took 4 years, maybe more, but we're going to go with 4 years to build a $354,000 fire station in Cherry Log, Georgia. But Charlie Paris and Kevin White right now, Paris and friends are going to build a pool that the kids can splash in by Memorial Day next year. Multi-million-dollar project. I'll close with this. Monday we're doing a full segment. I'm waiting for tonight. Going to go back. Monday we are going to dedicate a full segment, about 45 minutes, to this subject. Why? Hell, I don't know. We have a civil engineer. I'm pretty sure he's a civil engineer, but we have Lloyd Jarrett. Lloyd Jarrett is supposed to be on the pool project. In fact, if you go look at the workshop yesterday, it says aquatic center update or pool. It's aquatic center now. Aquatic center. Oh my God. Look, I could do the backstroke. Look at the upside. As soon as it's built, I could go learn to do the butterfly, the backstroke. Hey, synchronized swimming. We could have our own team. Oh my God, wait till I'm going to form the synchronized swimming team. All right, I know you're out there saying, all right, jackass, move on. Lloyd Jarrett is a civil engineer, already on the agenda giving a pool update. He is a solid guy, just straight up solid guy. He's on the county payroll. We would not have the Clear Creek Ball Field project completed if it wasn't for Lloyd Jarrett. First class quality guy, civil engineer, smart enough, prepared, and qualified to build anything. Kevin White needs to go and be Park and Rec director and let Lloyd Jarrett build the pool. Period. He knows how. We don't need to hear anymore that's what Kevin said. We need to hear that's what Lloyd said, because let me tell you what, Lloyd Jarrett has sense enough to get pool designers gathered and have them make a presentation. I bet he's done it before. I'm your host, BKP. Actually, that was more of a segment than I thought I was going to do. But anyhow, throw it out there, Josh. See how much hell I catch over it. Oh, one more thing, Josh. Don't kill it yet. Look for hashtag Ebenezer BKP, because they're going to try to paint me as the bad guy that doesn't want a pool for the children. So anytime you see hashtag Ebenezer BKP, okay, that would be me talking about the pool project. Take us to break, Josh.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LOJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on-site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Better days ahead.
It's always Truck Month at Days Chevrolet in Jasper. And with our maximum discount guarantee, nobody else comes close. Now save up to $11,000 off Silverado crew cabs or choose 0% financing for 72 months. Or save up to $7,000 off Colorado crew cabs. The new truck selection is huge and the discounts are unbeatable at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where it's always Truck Month.
Better days ahead. Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
Ace is your healthful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Hey, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. Josh, show everybody how they can contact us. Okay? Everybody how they can contact us there. And let's go with, hold on just a second. Just a second. I apologize. We're going to... Just a second, won't take me but a minute. All right. There it is. So, I'm your host, BKP. Here's the phone number. Here's the email address. This segment here, we are going to discuss what is called the derelict property ordinance in Blue Ridge. And the reason I want to take this on when I say this, it's a 36-page document, all right? A 36-page document that a lot of the citizens are very concerned with in Blue Ridge. And the reason, again, I want to take this on is because the actual document was a first reading. And if you don't understand, I say this nicely, if you don't understand how an ordinance works, or a change to your county charter or city charter with ordinance, you have a first reading, you have a document, you have first reading, then you have a second reading, and then you vote. Well, they had a first reading. And the other night at the Blue Ridge City Council meeting, I want to say this also before we get started. I'm not taking like a total side here. I have my opinion on it. But we're not going to get into a city attorney clash, because the city attorney that represents Blue Ridge is a good attorney, okay? And when you read the email chains, and we will get into that with Council Member Ken Gaddis, he or she will only do what they're instructed. I mean, I have been dealing with county attorneys, plural, city attorneys, plural, for 10 years now in this business. I know how they work. And if they are asked to prepare a document, they prepare a document. Part of their job is to help counties clarify old ordinances and clean out the old filing cabinets, as we'll call it, and get rid of stuff that doesn't work anymore, put it in a working fashion, and streamline things. So that's part of their job. So the city attorney, is it Bally, James Bally? I'm going to go with that. I hope I got that correct. We're not taking the attorney to task. Because what generally happens is they'll put a document together this wide. This is 36 pages. I don't like it 36 pages. But they'll put a document together this wide. And then it's up to the council, usually, or the commissioners, to start chopping it back. Start, scratch it through the lines. If you ever look at legislation, okay? So let me clear this up so you're very clear on it. Use that twice, right? When you look at legislation, which I do and I read, and you go to the Georgia House of Representatives and you look at a first reader, a second reader, and it's called the markup, okay? So you could go back when you finally get the piece of legislation that's voted on, and you'll see lines struck through segments. And then you'll go down 4 or 5 more pages on a list, and you might see 9 or 10 more lines struck. They take it out. Then they vote on it. Okay? So that being said, crafting the legislation and then, taking parts out and then going to the city with it should be a process. Well, the city of Blue Ridge goes with the first reader last week on this derelict property. Am I pronouncing that right? I don't think I am. Derelict property ordinance, okay? And they go with the first reader to the Blue Ridge City Council to the citizens. Well, citizens say, okay, what's this? This is the first we heard of this, like short-term rentals in Blue Ridge, short-term rentals. This is the first we heard of this. Citizens. Well, we do a story, I do a segment, I read all 36 pages. No matter how upset they get, I read all 36 pages. Okay. When the mayor makes a comment, Donna Whitener, of some sort, not quoting her, but, something that a lot of people didn't even read, I did. So I read the 36 pages. I do a segment here on the show for City of Blue Ridge. Our reporter writes a story on it. Social media blows up about it. And then Tuesday night, basically, the mayor, and I'm going to say Councilwoman Rhonda Thomas for the most part, but the mayor really goes after the citizens, my opinion, and social media and rumors and half-truths and, things that are, really didn't happen and we need to clear this up. I'm like, well, wait a minute. So you put a first reader for something that was really a draft up. The citizens find out about it for the first time. They're outraged at the process because this is the way things are happening in Blue Ridge. They're outraged, one, at the process. Two, nobody told us. That's why it gets them up in arms. Nobody told us you were going to do that, right? I'm waiting for my first caller. We don't have our first caller yet? Okay. Waiting for my first caller on this. So anyhow, so the citizens are saying, hey, we just heard about this. And, we're interested in the process that we don't know anything about. And then you throw a 36-page document out. You call it a first reader, and we're the bad people for saying, pump the brakes on this, what I appear. If they passed the 36 pages as is, it would never make it through court, as my opinion, and it's unconstitutional. So, that being said, I want to look a little deeper in this, and we're talking about it this morning. We're going to put this out. We are going to offer the mayor, Councilwoman Rhonda Thomas, we will offer them, we don't want you to think we won't, an opportunity. We will offer the mayor and Councilwoman Rhonda Thomas, Councilman Nathan Fitz, all of them, an opportunity to respond to our reporting and give them their chance to give their side. But we're going to start this morning with a resident of, lifelong resident of the city of Blue Ridge, Michael Eaton. Michael, are you with me?
I am.
Okay, good to have you this morning. First of all, Michael, let's put our picture up there. Let me ask you a quick question. Now, I have you down on the screen as Blue Ridge resident Michael Eaton, and that you've been a resident, a lifetime resident, correct?
Yes, I have. I've been in the county for most of my life growing up, but I have moved into the house that I currently live in 2003, which was actually my grandparents' house going all the way back to 37. So needless to say, I definitely have been involved in the city my whole life.
All right, well, we have you down, and I want to get all this up front for our viewers. We have you down as a Blue Ridge resident. But let us know, let me see if I'm correct here. Did you serve 2 terms on the Blue Ridge City Council?
I did. My first term was a partial term to fill a vacant seat, and then I was reelected for another full term. And after that, I've served almost the last 6 years as a board member for the Blue Ridge Zoning Board of Appeals, serving as chairman and vice chair.
All right, I want to get all these things up front before we really get our conversation going. Now, you recently resigned that position on the planning and zoning. You recently resigned that position, and I want to be clear in transparency. I think because of some public comments you made, they were going to ask you to resign, and you got out in front of it. And just tell me where I'm right and wrong. Could you elaborate on why you resigned that position here recently in the last 2 weeks?
I was not asked to resign. I had seen some emails that were going back and forth between the mayor and council, and I figured this would be something that they would hold over my head about my position.
Not to interrupt you, but did you feel that was coming? I want to correct what I said. So you might have felt that by watching some of their communication, that may be coming.
I would have expected some sort of ramification.
I didn't mean
for
to
my
interrupt you.
comments
Go
on
right
that.
ahead.
And that's why I went ahead and just put my resignation in, because honestly, this ordinance is more important to me than that position on the board. And this is where I wanted to really focus my attention. And that's basically what I'm doing at this point.
All right. The reason I asked you to come on this morning is a pretty threefold. One, you've served on the council. You've been a part, and within the 2 terms, filling 1 term and a full term, you've been a part of writing city ordinances. You've been a part of
Absolutely.
a lot of these discussions coming before you as a council member, and especially in planning and zoning, you have seen a lot of the growth and expected future growth. And last but not least, you made comments the other night. You went up and gave some public comments concerning this ordinance. Highlight those comments you made for our viewers, and then tell us what your opposition is, particularly on this ordinance.
Well, one thing, I've been dealing with ordinances now for a solid 10 years between all those positions. And one thing that I've come to learn over that time period is anytime you have an ordinance, no matter good intention, bad intention, whatever, anytime you put an ordinance out there, there's always going to be unintended consequences. There's going to be things that come from that ordinance that were not expected or not foreseen. That happens with all ordinances. That's why you always have to be extremely, extremely careful anytime you're adjusting an ordinance or putting a new ordinance out there. When I read this ordinance, I can see all kinds of ramifications that can come from it. And one thing that definitely concerned me was how quickly this was brought up to a first reading. And I know for a fact that not every council member had even read all the way through it before the first reading. This was something that at the last meeting, Donna pretty much admitted that she was the one that had called the attorney and got this thing rolling. There was not any discussion really between the council as far as going forward with it, or a lot of input or anything like that. It came before a first reading, before the public even really was aware of it, before the public had any input in it, before even the council members had a lot of input into this thing. And it's already at a first reading, which to me is very dangerous for a ordinance that has the reach that this one does. This ordinance, it contains a tremendous amount of power for the city over its citizens. And this is something that should have been brought to a town hall before it ever made it to a first reading. This was something that should have been discussed by the council at a meeting before it was ever brought to a first reading.
Let me stop you there just for a second. I want to get in on a couple things you said. I like where you went on the town hall. They passed around pictures of some really some bad properties or homes that are sunken in, and to me, at face value, these things should be torn down. They're not structures anymore. But if they would have had a town hall and did a slideshow presentation of those kind of properties, they may have had a different reception from the citizens. But none of that was done up front. So if they'd have done that, number two, I took a note while we were talking, as you brought up unintended consequences, and I like that one, and I wrote that down because I'm going to stick with that, because I hear all too many times, as you know, I cover a lot of cities and a lot of counties, and I hear all too many times these grandiose ideas, and they are on the face of taking care of something, but that's where workshops come in play to start tearing them down. And you should go after these things as council members for the unintended consequences. But what if this happened, and what if that happened? How would we handle it? So I'm really focused. I'm really drilled into that right there, that I like that comment, unintended consequences. When you were a city council member, how did the flow from the city attorney go to the council members? Did all of you get an email on a document that they wanted to pass, and then you have time to look at the document, make recommendations, and then get a final document to bring to the public? Or how did that work?
Well, ideally that would be the situation, but unfortunately this is something that you know, I dealt with when I was on council. You know, I serve with the same mayor that the current council is serving with. And this is a problem that I had then, and it's a problem that they're having now, is that you have a mayor that will just go out and do these things and not inform the council on decisions that are being made or, you know, things moving forward like this. Occasionally you might get an email or something along the way, you know, 6 hours before a meeting or something like that about something like this. And this has always been the issue is, you know, just like at the meeting the other night, they're talking about, well, we should have some sort of system in place for this. We should have some sort of, well, you should have, but this, she has been in office since 2010. This is year 9 that this has been going on. So either, you know, it's a situation where you have a slow learner on how this stuff should be handled, or you have somebody that has some sort of agenda with it. And that's what I look at this. You know, I look at these ordinances and how can they be abused? What can come from this? And you know, there's some real concerns I have with this type of the way that this is playing out. There's a little bit of a rush on this. Why is there a rush? If we're just cleaning up ordinances, why is there this rush? Why wasn't this brought out into a normal, you know, timetable on how this was brought out? Why was it brought to a first reading with a lot of people not being aware of it?
Well, you know, Michael, when I hear things, and I'm not going to take this segment and take, you know, look at people's intentions. That's their intentions are their intentions, okay? And I'm not going to break that down. We're looking at the ordinance, and you and I have had this discussion in transparency. Michael and I have had this discussion on the phone. But the thing is you know, when I sit and I hear the mayor and other council members say, well, this is not intended to go into somebody's house. Okay, let's stop right there. It's not intended. We'll take you at face value. It's not intended. But guess what? The document allows You may not intend it. Are you with me on that?
Absolutely.
You may say all day long, well, this is never intended to just go in people's homes. Okay, I'm going to take you at face value. If you're telling me that, you're sitting on the other side, you did for years, and I look at all the council members over there, and if you were sitting there last night, or Tuesday night, I'd have looked at you the same way. So if you're telling me that's not your intention, okay, I'm going to take that for it. I'm not going to run around and say you have different intentions, but you have a document that it could be done. Are you with me?
Absolutely, and that's exactly what I'm saying with any ordinance that gets put out there, is you can have the best intended ordinance, and you can have the best intentions with them, but they will give certain authorities and abilities that in the wrong type of situation can cause all kinds of stuff to happen that most people never expected.
Well, let me ask you, let's see if you and I agree on something here. I say that, and I didn't mean that in a negative way. Let's see if you and I agree on something here. Do you believe, as I do, I'll tell you this is my belief, do you believe all municipalities should have some order of how to deal with condemnation in their county, city, municipalities? Everybody should have some order or process to deal with condemnation for a property that just turns unsafe, that high school kids might try to party in on Saturday night, but fall through the floor and get killed because it's dilapidated. Do we agree on that?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
Okay, that's my concern is I couldn't figure out what else they're asking, because the pictures that I'm seeing are properties that maybe should go through a condemnation process. And you send the letter, and then you send the 30-day letter, and then you tear it down and doze it over, and you don't take their property, you just put a lien on it at the you know, the tax commissioner's office. Now, I made that very simple. There's a lot to it, but if they were coming to the citizens and say, we have a serious issue with abandoned properties that we need to have a firm condemnation ordinance in place, I think people would take that a little different. Would you agree or disagree?
No, I agree with that. And, you know, I'm not against any kind of, you know, ordinance that does that in a correct manner. We've had discussions when I was on the council about certain properties that needed to be condemned. A lot of times the discussion went toward the angle of, you know, if you go in and start condemning, you're going to end up into a, you know, probably more than likely a lawsuit, and you're going to end up with a lot of legal expenses and so forth like that, which I don't see a new ordinance, updated ordinance, negating that. You know, you're still going to have pushback a lot of times from property owners if you go in to destroy their property.
But
Not in all
if they
cases, but you
feel
have
that you have a,
possibility.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but if they feel you have a strong condemnation ordinance in your city, and you've reached a level that it's time to do something, then maybe they, at their expense, will tear the old structure down and whatever. But I don't want to get stuck on that, because you being a former city council member, I want to see if I'm correct on something else. Let's see if I'm 2 for 2 today. Now, I've worked with city attorneys throughout all of North Georgia and county attorneys throughout all of North Georgia for now 10 years. And they will take the direction of their mayor or their chairman of the county, the person that actually has that authority. They will take that direction and write an ordinance, and really they help clean a lot of this stuff up, and they'll write an ordinance and send it back. But it's not uncommon that they don't expect a markup where somebody marks up, you follow what I'm saying? Marks it up, sends it back, and they rewrite it. So the city attorney here, I'm not really taking the task. I think the city attorney wrote what was requested.
Yeah, I don't doubt that.
And don't you find it interesting, the other night they're doing markups that they're going to send back? So they already have a first reading, and are they going to have another first reading? What say you on the process? And I'm going to put you just a little bit on the spot. Do you want to share with us and our audience why you think they're putting this ordinance in place?
Well, I mean, this ordinance can be applied to, a lot of other situations outside of abandoned houses and drug houses and stuff like that. The way the ordinance is, I mean, it's like painting with a 5-foot wide paintbrush. It covers a lot of, areas that this can be applied to outside of just abandoned houses and drug houses and all that. I mean, it goes into a lot of other areas as far as, yard maintenance and keeping dirt off your property. That was one thing that I liked. You got to keep the dirt off your property. But there's a lot of other things where it falls into your normal residence and over those type of people that can affect people that's obviously still live in their house, that have lived in their house for many years, that don't have the income level to keep up with everything that the city's asking them to with this type of an ordinance. It reaches far beyond just abandoned houses or drug houses and so forth like that. The idea that's being put out there is, this is all for enforcement of drug houses and abandoned houses and tearing down, places like that. But this also affects everybody that still lives in their houses. This affects everybody inside the city of Blue Ridge that has, any residents inside Blue Ridge. This affects, it's a wide-reaching ordinance, and that's one thing that really bothers me about this one is the reach on this.
The mayor looked back at the audience the other night, the citizens, and and I'm not quoting, but made references. And when she said, you go in and there's an obvious code violation, and I just thought to myself, because I listen for words. I just the way I've always been, words. And I thought to myself, okay, who's gonna handle the definition of obvious, okay, in the house? Who's going to definition of that? And then I heard, well, we're not going to do this to go into somebody's home. But what I'm looking at is we were told there was a lot of things that were rumors and misinformation, but the reality is, 5 people file a complaint on you, and a code enforcement officer knocks on the door. I just can't see where I'm incorrect in what I've read in the 36 pages. Now, I'm not an attorney, so I read it twice. Some of the legalese I might not know. Before we close, because I have a city council member coming on after you, and I got to take a short break, can you pinpoint 2, out of 36 pages, just 2 areas of your most concern that you see in this document?
Well, one of my major concerns is the ability for them to enter your house. And it does require the municipal judge to sign off on that. But the fact that that's even in there is a major concern. And one thing that you've touched on, too, with the code violations, I was in real estate for almost 14 years. And I can tell you right now, there's hardly any houses you'll find, if any, in this county that meet 100% of the codes that are out there for Georgia codes. It's almost impossible to build a house that doesn't have some sort of code violation. If you went through every house in Blue Ridge or every house in the county, every house you walk into, you can write up a list of all kinds of code violations. I mean, they're all every house has code violations. There's tremendous amount of Georgia codes out there, and when you start lining this ordinance up with that gives you all kinds of angles to come at every house in the city through a code violation. There are a tremendous amount of code violations in every house out there. So with this ordinance, you could go in there and pinpoint, you're violating this code, you're violating that code, you're violating this code. And that's where this ordinance can be used in the wrong manner as, like I said before, a tool to, target certain people or harass certain people from the city's perspective towards them, political adversaries, so forth like that. It's a very dangerous thing. And, those are two things that definitely stand out, to me.
I know you and I would both be told right now that was never the intent, but I'm going to walk away with saying the unintended consequences is where this document falls short. That's just the bottom line. And everybody that comes on and tells me that was never the intent, we don't want to go in people's houses. Obviously, hey, okay, I'm going to take you, and I know I'm being redundant at face value, that's what you're saying, but the document allows for it. So
exactly.
Michael, I want to thank you. I've got to take a brief break. I have Kenneth Gaddis, a city council member, coming on after the break. I want to thank you for that. We'll be back in touch, and I appreciate your time.
Not a problem. Thank you, Brian.
All right. Again, former city council member, former chair and vice chair of, I think what he said, Blue Ridge City Planning and Zoning, and current resident of Blue Ridge, Michael Eaton, with us. We're going to take a brief break. When we return, we're going to talk to somebody that was there Tuesday, somebody that is, to me, shaking his head saying, what are we doing here? That's city council member Ken Gaddis when we return. Take us to break.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in Ella-J next to Walmart.
And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in Ella-J next to Walmart.
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and Ella-J, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World.
Do you feel like healthcare has become too impersonal?
3 times an hour, I'll get you in, I'll get you out.
At Lifetime Medical Center, you're more than a number. We get to know you, not just your medical issues. Dr. Alana Kent is board certified in family practice and offers same-day appointments. She and her staff treat conditions from minor to chronic issues. Lifetime Medical Center, convenient to Jasper and Blue Ridge.
This may sting a little.
Welcome to Mountain Valley Motors. Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Fiat vehicles available, plus a wide selection of quality used vehicles. Located at 7535 Appalachian Highway in Blue Ridge, we treat the needs of each individual customer with paramount concern. We know that you have high expectations, and as a car dealer, we enjoy the challenge of meeting and exceeding those standards each and every time. Allow us to demonstrate our commitment to excellence. Our experienced sales staff is eager to share its knowledge and enthusiasm with you. We encourage you to browse our online inventory, schedule a test drive, and investigate financing options. Visit us online or call us at 706-516-1053.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Hey, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. Now, we are talking about the derelict property ordinance in the city of Blue Ridge. So our next guest is going to be with us. First of all, give them the phone number where they can get in touch with us here, 706-889-9700. We're going to do 3 segments on this. We're going to do the segment today. We're going to do a segment later next week called Your Opinion. We're going to wait for Your Opinion is going to be third, okay? And then the citizens. And then next week we're going to offer other city council members to come on and discuss this. So we're going to leave it like that. So we're going to have 3 segments. Today's segment, citizen that spoke up in public meeting, Michael Eaton, okay? City council member Kenneth Gaddis. And then we're going to have the segment with the mayor and another city council member if they choose to come on. And then we're going to have Your Opinion, okay? So that's what we're going to do here, 3, because I think every city in America should pay attention to this 36-page document. Now, if you listen very close, this is one of the, I have to say, there's no other words but the lie. Lies get told so often, okay? I understand that this city attorney is a good attorney. I don't want to say I know the guy, but I know his work. Good attorney. The individual is not trying to steer the city wrong. I understand. I get it. But it's the mayor and the council that instruct or ask for documents. They only produce. So as I told you earlier, if you ever look at legislation down in Atlanta, they write these 9, 10-page pieces of legislation. And by the time it goes through all of the markup, okay, you'll see a piece of legislation with lines scratching out, sentence scratched out, because they take them out. So it's not uncommon for somebody to write a big document and you start working it back. So Blue Ridge City Council Tuesday night, the derelict, what I call the derelict property ordinance went for a second reading. And it was met by a room full of concerned citizens, all right? Room full of concerned citizens. And I'm waiting for our second caller right now. I'm waiting for our second caller. Let me double check when I told this individual. And it's right now. So maybe this individual just got just a hair sidetracked, actually working for a living. So we're waiting for City Council member Kenneth Gaddis to call. And at that being said, we're talking about the derelict property 36-page document from the City of Blue Ridge. Okay? I'm listening for the phone, folks. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to move past something. I got a confirmation that he was calling in. And like I said, the gentleman may have something else going on right now. So we're hanging on for City Council member Kenneth Gaddis. So that being said, we heard from Michael Eaton. I'm trying to stall. I feel like the one of the acts of the show has not showed up yet, and the show must go on. So I'm going to have to switch to a closing segment if he doesn't call here soon. Hold on. All right. Again, I just sent them a couple notes reminding them. There you go. There's the call. All right, I can hear it now. So as soon as Josh plugs him in, we'll get started. So hang tight, audience. Hang tight. Sometimes this happens when you're dealing with the real world. All right. Okay, joining us now on the line, Blue Ridge City Council member Kenneth Gaddis. Councilman Gaddis, I understand you got maybe some poor service where you're at?
I do. If you can hear me, we're in good shape so far.
I can hear you, but stay put. Now, I know you work for a living, so, you got things to do, so we're okay that we're running just a minute or two behind. But so let me get straight to the point. You're a city council member, your first term. Let's talk about the process of how you get information, when you get information, and able to look at things before votes. And what I'm saying here is we've had a recent ordinance in Blue Ridge City Council, the short-term rental, and a little bit of concern that I've heard from some people that you're not getting a lot of these ordinances to the last minute, and then all of a sudden they're sprung on the council, my words. Now, the other night, the same thing with this derelict property ordinance. When did you get the rough draft of that ordinance?
We've talked about things that's happened inside the city, but we've never gotten an official rough draft ordinance. I didn't receive mine until May the 10th, which was a Friday evening before the Tuesday council meeting.
So you got it Friday before the Tuesday. When did it originally go out? Are you able to see that in the...
I cannot, let's see, I remember looking through emails that Jeff Stewart, Johnny Searcy, who are doing a fine job, are trying to create a safe environment. My hat's off to them. They're just wanting to get some answers. So December 26th of last year, Jeff had some questions to send to the attorney and was serious if we could get something done about this. Through those correspondence, March 31st, through transcribed emails the city attorney sent out, it went to just a couple of people, none of them which were council members. It said, here's the rough draft, have the council look this over and send this in for reviews.
All right, now, let me get this clear. We are June 13th, which the meeting was on the 11th, 2 nights ago. So 6/11/2019 was second reading.
Well, it was, the first reading was May the 14th.
Was intended. The other night was intended.
Okay.
May 14th, is that what you said was first reading, right?
Correct.
But the email on the draft went out in March.
March 31st is what I did see.
But you did not really receive it until Friday before the meeting.
May the 10th, correct.
All right. And this 36-page document, now you have a business and a family. I mean, you've got obligations, and I will say, I don't live in the city of Blue Ridge, but I will say to any council member, I appreciate your service because it's over and above your day-to-day family life. So a 36-page document hits your table, your email, Friday before Tuesday, and basically, this is not what was said to you, but the intention maybe was, hey, read this over the weekend, you see something you don't like, send it to me, we'll get the attorney to redraft it. But who would have had time to get it down to the attorney, and the attorney have enough time to return it back with changes by that Tuesday night? Is that a concern of yours?
Yeah, I mean, it's to have 5 people truly look at it and come up with ideas, things to be taken out of it, things to possibly add, things to tweak. 2 business days is not adequate. Actually, 1 business day, because if you had to get it to the city attorney that Monday evening, he might have been able to have it ready for Tuesday. So really, you had 1 business day to get it back to the city attorney.
Well, what if you have an acquaintance, because it's not a real private document? What if you had an acquaintance that is an attorney and he said, hey, come by the house and I read this with me, you know? Because I'm going to tell you, I'm not speaking for you, I'm not an attorney, and I've got to read some of these things, the legalese on these things 3 and 4 times, and I have to make phone calls to people. I will call people, say, tell me what this just meant in this legal document. Now, I don't know about you, but I got to do that, so I need that much time.
Oh, yeah, it takes time, and you know, and it's kind of like, I hate to throw in religion, but Christianity, you know, the Bible used to be just a King James version. Now there's like 20 different versions of that King James version, so, you know, a lot of people interpret certain things differently, and you have to respect everyone's interpretations. Not everybody's wrong, you know, but some people believe that it means this, but yet other people can truly believe it means something else, and they're just reading it word for word, and you know, we want to make it more simple.
Well,
you know,
what I want to stay, what I'm staying focused with you is the how the operations at the city are handled within the council, because is this not a familiar? Did this not happen somewhat the same way with the short-term rental ordinance, as far as notifying the council in a period of time adequate enough to look it over?
there is a similarity. It seems like this one we had less time to review. We had more discussions with short-term rental stuff, but you know, a rough draft was drafted, and we had more time on it, but we needed more adequate time to discuss it before the first reading, if that's what you're asking.
Well, let me get back to that first reading, because the other night you went to a first reading. You yourself, we won't talk for other council members, received this derelict property 36-page document ordinance Friday before Tuesday. You go on that Tuesday, and it's considered a first reading. It is then set for a second reading. And then between that time and the second reading, the citizens, the news networks, get a copy, read it. They're upset. We do a story, others do a story, citizens go on social media. But then we go to the second reading the other night, and it overwhelmingly is being called a rough draft. And they were hoping just to line item through some things and vote on it. But they were calling it a rough draft. And being on the other side, I kind of felt the mayor and some council members, maybe plural, were saying the half-truths from social media, kind of like coming after us in a way, and you stepped up and said, whoa, wait a minute, who stirred the pot first? Can you explain to us why you made those comments?
Yeah, it's kind of like, they said that, people get out there and stir the pot, and I'm like, well, first of all, there's a cause and effect to everything. The effect is everybody got a little bit wild. Well, what caused that? It's the effect didn't stir the pot, the cause stirred the pot. And the cause of having a first reading without any, true discussion or workshop on this is really what, stirred the proverbial pot, as you want to call it. But like I said, similarities are, as people can read this, and you can look at it one way, I can look at it another way, kind of like I said with the Bible, the tens of thousands of different Christian Christian churches out there who read the same book but take meanings out of it differently. And what this is the same principle applies here. Is they're taking this ordinance and you can apply it differently to certain circumstances. Now, Chief Searcy and Jeff Stewart did an amazing job of getting this stuff, concerns of abandoned buildings. This is what it's all about. Structures that are falling in and can harm people. Officers has to go in there because possibly, somebody's in there illegally, and we don't want the officer falling through the floor, breaking his leg, or even worse. So this is what the origination is derivative of. I think it's kind of overkill. I wish we could go back and cut it back to just the abandoned properties, to say, because if you look at this looks like it could be, against people who actually live in homes.
Well, Councilmember Gaddis, two things. Number one, Chief Searcy was walking the tightrope a little bit the other night, and I say that this way is, yes, he admits he was involved in crafting some bullet points, or what I would call in the letter, but some bullet points of concerns in the city that we would like to see get addressed through an ordinance, and he admits that. But he said, and I don't want to quote, he said, but there were some things even in this document that, concerned me. And I'll leave it at that, but I think you remember him saying that. Much like yourself, I think, I'm not going to question your intentions. I'm not going to. Whatever you tell me, I'm going to take you. I'm not going to question the mayor's intentions. I'm not going to question Councilwoman Rhonda Thomas's intentions. If that's what you tell me, fine. But there's always the unintended consequences, not what you intended, and they are in the document. Okay, the unintended consequences. So if you, as a council member, are telling me that, yes, you feel we should have a strong, or the city should have a strong condemnation, ordinance where abandoned properties, you tear them down yourself, repair them, or we're going to have to for safety reasons. You don't want kids going out there, and I've seen this happen in Fannin County. You don't want a porch falling off. You don't want kids finding that as a place to party on Saturday night, and a rotten floorboard falls through and they're dead. And I agree with that, and that's my comment. But I understand that. But I think my opinion is this goes a little further than that, with the possibility of things they could do that they keep saying that wasn't their intention. Are there areas in this that concern you in this document?
Yes. A lot of the points, there are some good points in this, and I take it that there are some great points in this to help, to create safety throughout the city with the abandoned properties. But like I said, it's the unintended of possibly you could target people that actually live in their homes, and even though it's not what it's intended for, you could read it that way. And like I said, you have to read this two different ways and see if we can. I'd really like to see if we can make it more clear. to kind of take that out of there. I know the mayor said she plans on doing a second reading, next meeting, which, if, we can all agree on something, I mean, that's fine. If not, I mean, I don't know how I'm going to vote on this. I'm not a fan of it the way it is right now. So if you're going to rush me into a vote, then I guess I already know what my vote will be.
All right, so between now and then, do you intend, I have two more questions before we go. Do you intend to try to communicate with the attorney on the unintended consequence side of this document that you feel that maybe can be adjusted to be, a working document you could support? Do you plan to have some communication with the attorney with your concerns?
I'll communicate with the council first, and then if I can get multiple people to agree on the subject form, then we'll take it to the attorney. I don't like just contacting the attorney willy-nilly with taxpayer dollars. I like to kind of have somebody that has the same, thought process. Maybe I'm overlooking something. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm saying I'm just looking at this through my eyes and try to be more transparent for the citizens. But yeah, I'm going to communicate. We communicate through email since we can't get together in a group, and we try to see if we can kind of hash this thing out and see if maybe there are some changes they're willing to have.
Well,
I know the council. I know some council members. I mean, the mayor and the council members. We want what's best for the city. And sometimes the unintended consequences we may fall short of, but the council believes of the goodness in people.
Well, I heard the other night. I heard the mayor and I heard other council members. This is not what this document's intended to do. We never intended that. We don't intend for it to go into people's homes. I'm not going to question that. That's what I was getting at. I'm not questioning that. I'm not going to do that. Their intentions, I'm not going to, call into question. It's the unintended consequences that you keep saying you don't intend, but the document does allow for, whether you want to accept it or not. One more thing. There's two little things, and I want to tell you. I want to say I wasn't trying to put the short-term rental into the ordinance into the same box and have you answer that. I think what I was trying to do is put it in the same discussion, because last night you or Tuesday night you said you would like an ordinance process, a process of how you do an ordinance before it actually comes to that first reading stage. And that's why I kindly put that other one in the same box. What kind of process do you think the city should have in introducing an ordinance to its citizens?
Well, since Tuesday, with working and family, I've had some time, take about an hour of my day to kind of document stuff. And what I've drawn up so far, rough draft, which will go to the council first, is I want to see the concerns of the citizens and the concerns of the employees to come to the council with what their concerns are. And at that point, the council and the mayor can come together and say, hey, something needs to be done with this. This is serious. Maybe we should have some kind of ordinance. Then we take that idea to the city attorney, since we're the ones going to be voting on it. We are hearing from the employees and the citizens. So this is something that we're getting information from the citizens who put us in office and the employees who work diligently and hard inside the office to create a safer place. So I'd like to see that the council hear the concerns there first, and then we decide, hey, yeah, this needs to be addressed. And this is something I just don't want a short-term, or not short-term. I don't want a first reading just to be read. Oh, well, we can just go ahead and read it. It's not a vote. I want a short-term rental or a first-time reading to mean, hey, we've listened to you, and we've all come together, and we all are working on this. Now there's a first reading.
Well, let me say this, because it can get unorganized. Now I'm a big freedom of speech. We're going to have to wrap up, but I'm a big freedom of speech guy, and I believe citizens have a right to voice their opinion. it can get unorganized, it can get out of hand. So I can understand putting organized things in effect. But the other night, and I want to end with this. The other night, a lot of citizens wanted to make a comment concerning this ordinance, and they we shouldn't shout from the floor. But there's no organized comment area for citizens, and Councilwoman Thomas made a public comment. Look, if, and it's not a quote, but let me just say, look, if you're not happy, you can't make a public comment. Former councilwoman sitting back there, Angie Arp, changed that. Okay, she changed that, and you can't make the comment. Well, I'm going to ask you, although you were not in that conversation, what stops this council from changing it back, and maybe especially just ordinances? I think if you had public comment on everything, where you put a stop sign, you'll never get a meeting done. They're already long enough. But I think maybe if you just ordinances, have a citizen comment for ordinances who it affects. I don't know, but I'm wondering if there's something that could be thought out to put some better interaction from your citizens in place of in a place in your meetings.
Yeah, that's a good thought. Definitely something that we definitely like to consider. One of the things we did as a council is we took, at the very beginning of our term, we took the public comment section, which was at the end, and we moved it to the first, so that we could hear public comment before any, action items were voted on, so that we could hear the concerns. And I tell you, that really plays a big part into it. There may be some room. Maybe we could discuss it with each other and find out if on ordinances.
Maybe just
only.
Ordinances. I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I'm thinking like ordinances that are going to change the city. They're going to be on the books for 20 years. If you're going to put something in place that's going to be on the books for 20 years, take a half hour and let the citizens comment on it. Maybe just that structure. Well, listen, I'll tell you how much I appreciate it. I know between you and Team FYN Sports, we're playing a whole lot of baseball and softball, right?
Yep.
We love it. We absolutely love it. I think my niece, Sophia. I think I don't want to miss the other age group while I have you, but I know the 10-year-old Fannin young lady softball team there is lighting it up.
I tell you, all sports across Fannin County, the youth are just dominating.
Absolutely,
I'm so proud of these kids. I mean, they from the high school to all ages. I mean, you can't even skip an age. These kids of Blue Ridge and Fannin County are just putting on clinics of talent. It's amazing what they're doing.
I think the 10-year-old girls, and I'm not skipping any, I'm with you 100%, but I think the 10-year-old girls, and is it the 14-year-olds?
14U, yes.
Yes, and they're lighting it up. And, hey, I have to tell you, we support the softball team, FYN Sports, sharing everything we can. But I'm headed over to White County for Dizzy Dean, buddy.
I hear you, buddy.
I'm on my way to White County as soon as you and I get off the phone. I can't thank you enough, and I appreciate you always coming on and just sharing where you stand on these things as a city council member. You have a wonderful day. I know you got a busy day ahead, and I appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, folks, that is our show. We're going to close right there because I'm done. I got to go. Dizzy Dean, like I said, check us out, Team FYN Sports. We're going to set up right now over there in White County Park and Rec. We're going to have 12 teams. Let's see if I can do it from memory, Josh. Okay, we're going to have Gilmer, Fannin, Union Towns, Clay County, North Carolina. We're going to have Lumpkin, White County, and Dawson. I'm up to 8. We're going to have Jackson and Jefferson. There you go, 10 teams. Starting today at 6 o'clock, game 1. Dizzy Dean, Division 6, 12-year-old boys baseball tournament. I'm on my way. I got some baseball to call. We will be back tomorrow morning at Sycamore Crossing. Get us out of here, Josh. It's 10. We got to go.